You are about to become the most consistent person that you know, and what I'm going to teach you in this video is going to blow your mind, because once I learned the secrets that I'm going to teach you about consistency, it completely changed my life. It's how I ended up blogging every day for 2 entire years. It's how I built a multiple 6-figure business. It's how I meditated daily for a year. If you want to be a consistent person, you want to listen until the end of this video, because I'm going to teach you some stuff that you have never heard before. So let's dive in. So to make this video really helpful to you, I want you to choose something right now that you want to be consistent at every single day. So I want you to pick a daily action, and that could be something that you want to start, like posting on Instagram every day, or writing, or going to the gym, or it could be something that you want to stop doing, like quitting sugar or alcohol, or stop scrolling on social media in bed at night. This is actually why I created my Show Up Daily Challenge, where I walk you through taking a consistent action every day for 7 days. So if you want to do that, then I will leave the link in the description below. But for now, I just want you to pick an action that you want to do every single day. Okay, so before I tell you exactly how to be consistent with that action, we've got to talk about why you're not consistent, because until you understand this, it will not make sense what I'm going to tell you about becoming consistent. So the reason that you're not consistent right now is because every time you go to take that daily action that you want to take, your brain offers you a choice. It says something to you like, do we have to do this today? Do I really need to do it right now? Could I do it later? And that choice is the problem. The reason that you are not consistent, and you might want to write this down, is because you see taking action as a preference. But not doing it is kind of neutral. You don't really mind if you do that thing or not. So now your brain's like, okay, great, I could do the thing, or like I could not do it, and like it doesn't really make a difference to me, because they both feel just as good as each other. In fact, even not doing it can feel sometimes like a relief, because you don't have to do that thing that maybe takes a little bit of effort. So let's say that your consistent action is to post on Instagram daily. And maybe you're feeling really motivated and you post on day 1 and day 2 and day 3, but then on day 4, you skip a day. What happens? Nothing. Nothing happens, right? It's completely neutral to you, because posting on Instagram feels good, but not posting on Instagram also feels good. And that is exactly why you stop, because you've only built desire in one direction. You've only built desire to want to do the thing, but there's nothing really stopping you from wanting to not do it, right? So how do you actually become consistent? Here's what you have to do. You have to change your experience so that taking action is no longer a preference. It is actually, and you might want to write this down as well, unacceptable. So your brain sees it not only as something you want to do, but also as something that you don't want to not do. So you are always wanting both to do the thing and to not do the thing. So now when you're posting on Instagram every day and you skip a day, it no longer feels neutral. It no longer feels like a relief. It actually feels negative to you. You don't just feel like, oh, I wish I had posted. You think, I actively want to avoid the experience of not posting. And this is true whether you want to start a habit or you want to stop a habit. Like works if you want to quit alcohol or sugar or scrolling on your phone, or whether you want to post on Instagram or go to the gym or start writing. It really doesn't matter. The point is, if you feel like missing a day is no big deal, then you will keep missing a day. So let's take an extreme example for just a second. Why do you not murder people? Really think about it. It's because you don't just prefer not to murder people. You actually find the alternative, murdering people, as completely unacceptable. It's not just a preference, it's repelling to you. Like, you would never do that. And so you have to create that same feeling that you have, as extreme as that, almost, for all of your goals, for all of the things you want to be consistent at doing. You can't see them as an option. The way that your brain sees murdering someone as not an option, you have to see skipping a day on Instagram as not an option. This is how I ended up blogging every single day for 2 years, because I didn't just have a preference to want to put out a post. The idea of not putting out a post was completely unacceptable to me. I had a huge aversion to it. So I didn't just build up a desire to want to do it, I also created aversion to the idea of not doing it. And this is where most of us fail when it comes to consistency, because we only think about the thing that we want to do and we don't spend any time creating any aversion to the thing that we don't want to do. So look at the daily consistent action that you want to take. Does skipping a day feel totally unacceptable to you, or does it kind of feel neutral? Because if it feels neutral, that is exactly why you won't be consistent at doing that thing. Until you make it feel completely unacceptable to not follow through on your consistent action, then you are not going to do it. You have got to get yourself out of emotional neutrality and stop experiencing it as something that just would be better if you did, and instead start seeing it as something that there's no way that you would ever consider not doing. Okay, so now that you know that you need to make it unacceptable, your brain might be like, yeah, that sounds good, but how? How do I make not posting on Instagram feel completely unacceptable? How do I make not going to the gym feel completely repellent to me? And here I'm going to tell you how not to do it first. Because these are the things that most of us try and they will not work. I guarantee it, because you've probably tried them before. You cannot just decide. Most of us do this when it's like New Year or our birthday or even Monday, right? This week's gonna be different, and you just decide that it's gonna be different. It's not enough to just make a decision. That won't work. It's also not enough to plan to be consistent. That won't work, because the version of you that's making the plan to be consistent is not the same version of you who's gonna actually have to execute it. So the way that you feel when you're making the plan is not the way you're gonna feel when it's coming time to actually do the thing. So it never really works, and you're gonna end up not following through. Just planning is not enough. It's also not enough to rely on willpower. You cannot just grit your teeth and bear this, because you're only gonna get through a certain number of days. That's how you make it initially, to like your first 4 days of posting, and then you stop, because you're using willpower. But willpower requires energy, and some days you're just not gonna have the energy to summon to actually do this. But it doesn't require you any willpower not to murder someone today, right? Because you have no resistance to not murdering someone. In fact, you have complete resistance to murdering them. So you have got to start generating a massive amount of resistance. Willpower alone is not going to do that. So what do you actually do? How do you build aversion to the thing that you don't want to be doing? You have got to completely rewire your desire. Completely shift how you feel about taking action and about not taking action, or about doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing and not doing the thing you're not supposed to be doing. You have to completely shift the way you actually feel about those things. And the way that you do that is by changing what you think. You've got to start mining your brain to look for reasons why doing the thing is so completely unacceptable that there's no way you would ever consider not doing it. Like, I used to have a preference for flossing my teeth. I wanted to be someone who flossed them twice a day, and I had the goal of doing that, but like, I don't know, when I didn't floss them, nothing really happened, like it all seemed fine. So I was like, okay, like I'd like to do this, and I should, but I never really could get myself to be consistent doing it. Until I got told by a dentist that I might have to get all 4 of my wisdom teeth out. And then from that moment on, the idea of having bones pulled from my face sounded so horrible and so unacceptable to me. They said, well, if you floss more, you might not have to do it. I was like, boom, decided, done. Because the idea of having to go under a surgery like that feels completely unacceptable to me. Unless I absolutely have to, of course I would do it, but I don't want to have to do that. And so suddenly, guess what I'm doing? Flossing my teeth twice a day, and I've been doing it consistently for months and months and months. And the reason is because I built those new thoughts in my head. Now, someone else could leave the dentist and not have those thoughts at all, but I worked on them deliberately. I aggravated them. I looked for reasons why getting my wisdom teeth out would be extremely painful, extremely expensive, why it was a miserable process, why the only thing that could save me is flossing my teeth. And now I don't just prefer flossing my teeth, I wouldn't even consider not doing it. It doesn't take me any willpower whatsoever to floss my teeth, because I have such a strong desire to not want to have bones pulled from my face. So that is what you have to do as well. You have got to create yourself those thoughts, and you have to keep looking for those thoughts. And I actually teach you how to do that inside my 7-day Show Up Daily challenge. If you want to become someone who is extremely consistent and you're the most consistent person that you know in your whole entire life, then you've got to take that challenge. The Show Up Daily challenge is a 7-day experience where I am going to help you completely rewire your desire, because it's going to take a little bit of time for us to really get to what exact thoughts are going to help you feel completely repelled by the idea of doing anything other than the consistent action that you want to be taking. So if you want to actually rewire your desire so you can become the most consistent person that you know, then make sure you go and take that challenge. I will leave the link in the description below. It is totally free to sign up. And in the meantime, let me know in the comments what your specific consistent action is going to be, and I will see you at the challenge.